So in this video we're going to look at indices, which is the small number next to a letter or a base value, and we can abbreviate things when we've simplified things down to make life easier. So the first example here, we can see that there are 5 x's all times together, so I can put x to the power of 5. So this only works when everything is being times together. And then we've got p with 2 values, so it's going to be p with little 2. If there's no value next to the actual letter, it means that there is a 1 there. So you can either write m with a 1 or just leave it on its own. It's the same value. Now if you have a negative, it means that you're going to have your answer in the form of a fraction. So it's always 1 over, and then it's going to be 3 to the power of 1. So that minus means that it's always going to be 1 over from that, and then from there we can just simply leave it as a third. So doing the next example, hopefully illustrate, we get 1 over 4 to the power of 3, and then we need to work that out to get 1 over 64. So the other time you might see an indices with a fraction. So even on the foundation paper you're going to see the fraction. So when you have a fraction, it means that you are going to work this out. So the power of a half means to square root the 100. So that's obviously going to hopefully be 10. Now when you get to the higher paper, you're going to have a combined fraction, as it were. So you're going to have to break this apart. So you're going to have the cube root of 125, but then you're going to square the answer once you've got that. So the cube root of 125 is 5, and then we're going to square that to give me 25. So it's a two-step process because we have broken apart this into the 2 there and the 3 in front of the square root symbol. So the second one, it's the same process, we just have a fraction. You're going to have 36 over 64, but we're going to square root that little 2 there, and then whatever we get we're going to cube. So the square root of 36 is 6 over 8, and then we're going to cube our answer from that, which obviously gets us quite big numbers of 512 and 216. Okay, the last one is a extra bit with the negative. We're still going to break this up, so I have to cube root the 8 over 64. We're then going to square the answer, and then once I've dealt with that, we're going to then deal with the negative. So this gets me down to 2 over 4. We're then going to square that, so that gives me 4 over 16, but then I still have this negative, and hopefully you can remember from the lesson that we're effectively inversing that and getting the reciprocal. So we're going to swap this upside down, so 16 over 4, and that's my answer, which is obviously 4. So hopefully you can remember doing that in lesson, and I'll put some Hegarty clips on relating to that for more practice. So we're going to look at the rules. So there are several rules when we want to try to simplify. When we have a multiplication symbol, it means that we're going to put these values together. All the base values are the same, which is quite important. So that will give me x to the 14. When we divide, it means that we're going to subtract the powers. So that will give me d to the 9. And then here again is another example, but this time we're going to actually work out the value of 12 times 2, which is 24. Then combine the letters, so it'll be e to the 6, because remember, if there is no number, we're going to put that 1 there. And again, work out the value here, so that's going to give me 4. And then you've got to look at the letters. so it's minus, so it's going to be m to the 0. Now hopefully you can remember that m to the 0 is just 1, so 4 times 1 is just the 4. And then the last rule that everybody needs to know is the brackets. So we're going to times these values together, so e to the 21. Now the minus we've talked about and the half we've talked about, so hopefully you can link the two together. So we are going to square root the x, and the minus means 1 over. So that's my answer, 1 over the square root of x, and I leave it like that. And then finally a combination question, which will be on both papers. You're going to be adding that together to get the numerator. So that's going to give me 12. Keep the denominator the same. Remember, this line means divide. So 12 to the x divided by 12, x to the 4 is going to be x to the 8 for my final answer. So it's more of a two-step question as opposed to everything doing at once. So you need to show a bit of working out from that. You can see from the picture on the Advent section there that there are the rules, so hopefully you can try to remember them. And if you want to practice more Hegarty videos, 102 to 110, go increasing in difficulty as it goes along. So well done for listening, and hopefully that was helpful.